Hello, everyone. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be talking about racism in our country. I chose this topic because I was very interested with what our country has been gone through, and back then with our racist laws. I believe that we are all equal people, and that we are all human, and that we shouldn't be treated differently if you have different color skin than everyone else. What is racial discrimination? Racial discrimination is the act of treating someone differently and unjust because their race. Hispanics, blacks, Asians, Caucasians, and more are affected from this. Overall, all races are different from each other and are treated all differently. For example, the wage gap is different. In this presentation, I'm going to show you uh, all how we can treat others different from us. The race wage gap. For all races, the wage gap for work is never the same. Employers pay workers less for their race, even if they perform better than their superiors. According to the Federal Bank of San Francisco, it says, more than half a century since the Civil Rights Act became law, U.S. workers continue to experience different levels of sex depending on their face. Analysis using microdata on earnings show that black men and women earn persistently lower wages compared with their white counterparts. This means that even with our civil rights law, we still have these continuous problems of our other races getting paid less than white people, meaning that we either can reinforce this law and force employers to pay more for different race people, or leave it how it is now and still continue having these problems. As you can see, for the employment rates for men, uh, as the white male get, unemployed, the black men uh, spike up. It's kind of like almost like a loop, because like if this increases, this increases. If this increases, this increases. And it just keeps on doing that. As you see, also for the hourly earnings for men, the whites get more. It's about a 17% difference, and the median hour for men and women. Actually, Asians are get paid more than the white people, blacks and Hispanics. Hispanics actually getting the worst payout role, which is very surprising. The Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan is a secret society that favors white supremacy and will kill anyone who wants to change that. Although the primary target were blacks, Asian and Hispanics deaths have occurred during the 1942 to the present time. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, in the text it says, the 19th century Klan was originally organized as a social group by Confederate veterans in Pulaski, Tennessee in 1866. The 19th century Klan reached its peak between 1868 and 1870. A potent force, it was largely responsible for the restoration of white rule in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia. This means that this secret society was created during the Civil War to show other races that whites were superior than them and would kill anyone who would oppose that. They targeted authors, writers, and any job relating to public opinion so they couldn't inform the public to change their mind about white supremacy and give equal rights to others. We got a picture of Ku Klux Klan marched down Tennessee in 1866. Jim Crow laws. The Jim Crow laws made in 1866 and last to the 1960s, were a series of anti-black laws. It made everything harder for blacks as they would be stuck with these laws for a century. According to Ferris.edu, in their article it states, the first rule, blacks were not allowed to show public affection toward one another, especially kissing, because it offended whites. A black male could not offer his hand to shake hands with a white male because it implied being socially equal. Obviously, a black male could not offer his hand or any other part of his body to a white woman because he would be risk of being accused of rape. Whites and blacks were not allowed to eat each other. If a black person rode in a car driven by a white person, the black person sat in the back seat or the back of a truck. Never assert or even intimidate that a white person is lying. These laws mean that these laws all mean that they wanted to show the blacks that whites are more superior than them, and they can do nothing since the whites can keep reinforcing until life is almost impossible for the blacks. Education. Education is very important to sustain a job. In this chart from census.gov, it shows percentages of graduated schools from race to race. In the chart, it shows that 12.1% of 168,000 whites get an advanced degree. For blacks, only 8% in 25,000 get advanced degree, meaning that whites are more expected to have a better degree than African Americans. For Asians, 21.4% out of 12,000 people get an advanced degree, making it the only race to pass the whites with their successful education. This isn't shocking since the Asian race overall gets the better pays than whites in the wage gap, while Hispanics get the worst. For my creative product, I made a YouTube video. It's about racial discrimination. I actually had to re-upload this because this got corrupted. So, yeah, 32 subscribers. I got 2 comments. Yeah, man, I completely agree with you. I don't understand how we treat other humans so differently. And I agree with you. You should make another video talking about it. And can we ever solve these racial problems? Well, oops. Well, first of all, we need to make everyone stop thinking that the race is more powerful than others. We need to provide more laws to this topic so more and more people can get this horrible habit out of their mind. Although it will never be truly end but we can minimize by a whole lot if we ever did these things. People just need to learn how to accept that other races are human beings just like us and not a waste of space on Earth. According to Utni.com, it states, in a digital survey for 87,000 Americans, about 4% don't like the idea of stopping racism. 54% are undecided, and 40% are good with the idea of stopping race and discrimination. This is important because if we all work together, we can stop this racial discrimination that's happening in our own country. We got some protests here. In conclusion, I believe that racism in our country has been growing and growing ever since it was founded. And if you all come together, we can hopefully make a stop this racial discrimination happening. And here's my sites, and that's it. Alright, bye.